All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we are tackling the ultimate locked room mystery, that 3-pound universe sitting right inside your skull. It is an astoundingly complex piece of matter with over 100 distinct regions firing all at once. But we're going to ask a question today that fundamentally challenges basically everything you think you know about yourself.
Because think about it. Who is really in control of your decisions? We all walk around feeling like we're the sole authors of our actions, right? From, deciding to hit snooze on your alarm to making massive life decisions, we feel like we're the pilot flying the plane. But are you actually making those calls? Or is something else entirely running the show from behind the scenes?
As neuroscientist Bobby Kasori points out, that unified I you feel inside your head, that continuous sense of self, might actually just be an incredible trick of biology. I mean, we're a collection of nearly 90 billion neurons, yet we somehow feel like one single person. So let's peel back the layers and see what happens when the conscious you isn't looking.
Section 1. The unconscious takeover, when the pilot is asleep.
So to really understand consciousness, we first need to look at what happens when parts of your brain are forcefully turned off. When you're wide awake, your brainwave activity is this dynamic, highly exciting electrical conversation. But put someone under anesthesia, and that activity just dramatically slows down into these dull, monotonous rolling waves. The drugs effectively shut down a central communication hub deep inside your brain called the thalamus. This proves that consciousness absolutely relies on different regions actively talking to each other. Block that hub, and the lights just go out.
But what happens when that communication breakdown happens naturally? Well, think about sleepwalking. It is fascinating. During a sleepwalking episode, your motor cortex, which controls your physical movement, and your visual cortex are actually wide awake, but your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for deliberate choices, filters, and self-awareness, that stays entirely offline. It's crazy. Your brain can literally guide you to walk around, eat, or even drive a car without you being consciously aware of it at all.
Section 2. Two minds, one brain, severing the bridge. Okay, so if consciousness is really just different regions talking to each other, what happens if we physically divide the brain in half? Enter the corpus callosum. It's this massive bundle of fibers that acts like a superhighway between your left and right hemispheres. To treat severe epilepsy, surgeons actually sometimes sever this exact pathway to stop seizures from spreading, and doing so creates a truly astounding phenomenon. It appears that two completely separate, independently functioning minds suddenly exist inside a single skull.
Let's look at how researchers actually test this, because it's wild. Due to how our vision is wired, everything you see in your left visual field is processed only by the right hemisphere of your brain. So, in a very famous experiment, scientists quickly flashed the word Texas to the left side of a person's vision. This meant they sent that information exclusively to a split-brain patient's right brain.
But here is the catch. The language and speaking center of the human brain, that is located in the left hemisphere. And because that bridge between the two halves was cut, the left brain had absolutely zero idea what the right brain had just seen. So when the researchers asked the patient what they saw, the patient genuinely vocalized, "I didn't see the word." The conscious, speaking part of the brain was telling the absolute truth as it knew it.
But then, the researchers asked the patient to draw a symbol of what they saw using their left hand, which, remember, is controlled by that silent right brain. Without even hesitating, the left hand picked up a pen and drew a perfect cowboy hat. And when asked why they drew it, the conscious, speaking patient was totally confused. They had no idea. This absolutely proves your brain can process information and take complex physical actions completely independently of your conscious, speaking self.
Section 3. Hidden forces shaping you, emotions and ancestors. So we've seen physical separations, but what about the invisible ones? Take the famous 1848 case of Phineas Gage. This guy has an iron rod blasted straight through his skull in a railroad accident. Miraculously, he survives. His motor skills and his memory are totally intact, but his friends quickly noted that Gage was no longer Gage. He completely lost his social filter and his emotional control. Modern neuroscience maps this exact damage to the prefrontal cortex. It acts like an emotional thermostat, proving that who you are socially and morally is quite literally wired into the meat of your brain.
And honestly, it gets even wilder. Can these hidden forces actually come from before you were even born? In Dr. Bianca Jones-Marlin's epigenetic research, mice were given a mild shock paired with the smell of almonds. Biologically, the mice adapted, growing more almond-detecting nose cells to survive. But here is the absolute craziest part. Their offspring, who had never been shocked or exposed to that smell, were born with those exact same altered nose cells. A learned survival response to trauma was physically inherited. Your brain is quite literally molded by the experiences of your ancestors.
Section 4. Rethinking free will. The ultimate illusion.
So if we are constantly being steered by disconnected brain hemispheres, biological thermostats, and inherited trauma, do we actually have any free agency? Well, researchers tested the literal bounds of free will using a transcranial magnetic stimulation, or TMS device. Basically, it uses a focused magnetic field to act like a puppet master on a volunteer's motor cortex, making their finger twitch entirely involuntarily. Researchers mixed it up, sometimes making the machine twitch the finger, sometimes asking the volunteer to do it voluntarily, just to see if the subject actually knew who initiated the movement.
By monitoring the brain's electrical signals, researchers found something absolutely staggering. They could predict the finger movement exactly 50 milliseconds before the volunteer physically moved, or even consciously felt like they had made the choice to move. Yes, 50 milliseconds. Your unconscious brain initiates the action first. Your conscious mind only catches up a fraction of a second later, basically taking credit for a choice it didn't even start.
Scientists actually call this retrospective agency. During the experiment, when the machine forced the finger to move at the exact moment the volunteer was deciding to do it, their sense of agency just completely fell apart. They couldn't tell if it was them or the machine. So our sense of control, it isn't some pre-planned command. It's really just a fragile, comforting story stitched together by your brain after the fact, convincing you that you were in charge the whole time.
Section 5. The power of letting go. Unconscious creativity.
Now, discovering that your conscious I isn't fully in charge might sound a little scary at first, but relinquishing control is actually the secret to peak human performance. Neuroscientist Charles Lim put professional freestyle rappers inside an MRI scanner, and he discovered that to improvise and hit that true flow state, the highly analytical prefrontal cortex actually has to significantly deactivate. Whether you're sinking a free throw or creating art, if you inject conscious control and start overthinking, your performance plummets. You literally have to let the unconscious take the wheel to be truly brilliant.
To wrap up this explainer, letting go of conscious control is totally a feature, not a bug. Your brain is this vast collection of brilliant, fragmented systems making literally millions of calculations below the surface. The you that you feel, it's just the narrative tying it all together. So if your hidden depths, your biology, and your unconscious are already running the show, imagine what you could achieve if you just get out of your own way. Thanks so much for diving into the mind with me today.